Hi, I'm Freya from Expecting Antenatal Classes. As a midwife, I very frequently get asked about newborn rashes because there's loads of rashes that babies can get. So I'm going to tell you about the most common ones to look out for and what you need to do about them. So when babies are born, they often have really clear skin. They may have some vernix on. This is the stuff that looks a bit like lard, and if they're born early, they may well have quite a lot. This is really good for their skin, just let them absorb it. But after that, their skin's often really beautiful for a few days, maybe even a few weeks. But then you'll often find they go quite spotty, quite flaky, kind of blemished skin. And newborn photographers openly admit to using Photoshop to hide these. You'll see this lovely image supplied by Little Poppet Photography, fantastic newborn photographer, and you can see how they've actually edited out those blemishes. So if you've got a newborn photo shoot booked, don't panic, they will work their magic. Now, there's a general rule that if your baby has a rash and then they seem unwell, they're handling differently to usual, they're irritable, or they've got a raised temperature, it's essential that you seek medical help. You can also check with the glass test. So if your baby's got a rash, place a glass on the spots and look if you can actually see those red spots through the glass when you press the glass. If you can see them through, seek urgent medical attention because it could potentially be meningitis or septicemia, which are really serious. But if you press that glass on the skin and the spots disappear, and then when you take the glass away, they reappear, that's really reassuring. So if baby's handling absolutely fine, they're their usual self and they've got a rash, it's probably one of these things. Now, to start with, milia. People usually refer to this as milk spots, and you normally find this on the nose or at least on the face. Milia is a protein that the body produces, and then this actually becomes trapped under the skin, showing these kind of milk spots. Another rash that you may see is baby acne. About 20% of babies get this, and it looks quite similar to teenage acne. And in the same way, it's generally thought to be produced by hormones. Now, the most common rash is erythema toxicum. And it sounds really bad. I mean, the word toxic is in the title, but actually it should probably be called common baby rash because about 70% of babies get this and it's completely benign. There's no consequence to it at all. You just need to leave it be and it will go. You can see this as like a red base with a white middle that's kind of got pus in it. It's quite unsightly, and you normally see it on the baby's face and upper body. So if you spot this, don't panic. Another rash that you may spot is heat rash. Now, some people refer to this as prickly heat, very small red dots. And if it's a really hot day, then it'll probably be obvious that that's what it is. But you may spot this, not on a hot day, but if your baby's feeding lots, if they're having a growth spurt and feeding, cluster feeding, so you've got them tucked into you, or if you're holding them a lot that day, they may get hot and have heat rash. And another rash to look out for is nappy rash. Now, you don't need to use nappy creams, medicated creams, to prevent this. Instead, to prevent it, just when you change your baby's nappy, quite often let their legs kick a little, let the air get to the skin to help prevent it. However, you may well get splashed in the process as they do a wee. If you do spot that they've got some nappy rash, then you can use something like coconut oil or pure lanolin. Both of these are natural products and often actually help it to go away before having to use something medicated. Cradle cap is less of a rash, but more like flaky skin that you see on the baby's scalp or kind of trapped in their hair. Now, you don't actually need to do anything to get rid of this, but quite often people like to just because they think it looks a bit unsightly. And if you want to try and get rid of it, smear lots of coconut oil into your baby's scalp, leave it for an hour or two to do its work, and then get a really finely toothed comb, maybe even like a knit comb, and very, very gently just release that dead skin away, and then you'll need to wash your baby's hair. Don't be tempted to use olive oil on your baby's skin or on their scalp because this actually changes the pH level, so something like coconut oil is far better. Don't be tempted to squeeze or pick these spots or rashes or anything that you see. And like I said before, if you think your baby's unwell, if they're not themselves, then always seek medical attention and check that they pass the glass test. Try and use non-biological washing products and try and use more natural products generally for your baby. Keep them clean, but they don't actually need a bath daily. That's quite drying for their skin. If you found this video to be useful and you'd like more tips, check out expectingclasses.co.uk where you'll find our fully comprehensive antenatal course.